All right. Good evening and good morning to all of you here, and a warm welcome to the India meetup of MIT's Decentralized AI Summit. The Decentralized AI Summit in 2025 was kicked off at the MIT Media Lab on April 14th, and it also saw the global launch of NANDA, the architecture and the community. Yeah. We'll jump right into the agenda now. We start with opening remarks, a quick note about B79Hub, and then we follow that up with the new era of the agentic web, observations by Shantanu Bhattacharya at MIT. We then follow it up with the introduction to Nanda by Professor Ramesh and the Nanda how-to guide by Pradyumna Chari. Post this set of presentations and live demos, we get into the Q&A session hosted by Krish Dasgupta. And following the Q&A, we will get into the real-world usages of Nanda with Nanda applications presented by Chris Peace. We also get a sneak peek into the Nanda ecosystem with Startup Showcase, where we have Marco Cello, the CEO of Meshify, who joins us today. And finally, we have VC Speak with Ranjit Chetye, partner at Honest Venture Capital. And with that, we call it a wrap. So I would encourage for Q&A in real time, please type in your questions in the Q&A window or the chat window. We have our tech volunteers who are monitoring the chat and Q&A, and will consolidate and pose the questions to our speakers at the end of the respective sessions. Okay, we'll move on. All right. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce B79Hub and the collaboration with the MIT team. So B79 was launched as a venture hub with the objective of working with AI ventures to help deepen the pace of innovation at AI ventures in India. We're fortunate to have a stellar core team with Professor Ramesh, Dr. Shantanu Bhattacharya, scientist at MIT, also Sai Satya and Subhash Gaitonde, both serial entrepreneurs. The intent at B79Hub has been to work with ventures to not only deepen the business outcomes, but also to help develop strong technology moats. Next slide. We have a strong leadership team and a mentor community who bring in strong experience in academia, entrepreneurship, corporate innovation, and investments. Next slide. So we had our inaugural session in January with the AI for Venture workshop, where we ran our cohorts through the spot probe methodology from MIT, where we helped ventures to think through spotting opportunities and probing the solutions rapidly using GenAI tools. The program saw 150 registrations, out of which we were able to conduct the cohort for 14 startups over a 2-day workshop. The second program, we are here today for that. And this is about the technology infrastructure that lies below AI agents. And this helps us to be true to our intent of helping not only define precise business problems, but also help ventures stay ahead of the technology curve. And finally, at the end of today's session, we expect to host a series of subsequent office hours and also selected cohorts to help the community here, one, to help plug them into the global Nanda community, but also, and importantly, to gain the visibility for agent services from ventures here at the global scale. So look forward to working with all of you. With that, I hand it over to Shantanu. Shantanu has an uncanny ability to connect the dots and predict future trends. So over to you, Shantanu.
Shantanu, you're not audible. You're muted.
That helps. When you have had coffee in the morning, you usually don't remember that you are muted. Good morning, everyone, and good evening in India. Jubi, thank you for kicking off the event in a great way. We have had past 2 weeks, sleepless past 2 weeks, where folks like Pradyumna and a team of graduate students, Chris, Ramesh, we have all spent times building up the whole enthusiasm as well as the product of NANDA. With that, I'll only take a couple of questions that have been asked multiple times. Next slide, Pradyumna. The first question, and then kick it off for the experts. I have the shortest number of slides in this presentation. So what is NANDA? If you remember, and how many of you are born before 1970 in this audience? I'm assuming not more than 10. So if you had been born before 1970, there was no internet, or 1969 to be precise. The first internet was something called ARPANET that connected the file servers around the universities. That was pretty much it. The internet was essentially invented so that the scientists can connect to each other's computers, transfer files, get data, and so on and so forth, largely physicists. The number of nodes on the left side, as you can see, was across US. It's about 11, 13 nodes. 2025, push 55 years forward, we have now about 15 nodes around the world, or 15 NANDA instances around the world as of April 15, 2 days back when he launched it. This is a global movement. Agentic AI is going to change the way we interact with the internet and the way we interact with each other, the way we interact with agents, and the way we interact in the future economies. And you'll hear the glimpse of that. So there are a couple of questions that people keep asking. He said, why do you need an open, architecture? Isn't Google doing enough? A2A, isn't Anthropic just released MCP protocol, and so on and so off, right? If you see the way the two, and some of this Ramesh will take, two different sectors of the digital economy has evolved. The websites are open. Anyone sitting in India, if you have a shop in my hometown, Agartala, you are qualified enough to probably go build a website and transact across India and sell foods, right? Or you can be registered as a seller on Amazon. It's a very, very open ecosystem. On the other hand, if you look at the closed ecosystems of the app stores, it's largely controlled by Google and Apple. There were other competitors other people have tried to compete on and off, but never succeeded. In general, in the history of the internet and in the history of commerce, or even the history of the way the countries and democracies are built around the world, right? Open systems tend to work better than the closed systems. So that's the number one. That's the number one reason why building it as an open system. The second question that keeps coming up, and this was an interesting question that someone in the audience did a few days back. Why do you need a new infrastructure? Why can't you just take the internet infrastructure? Why are you building NANDA, right? As I said, you were not born before 1970, but until about 1996, 97, when the real internet came up, as opposed to the 1970s internet, which was largely academicians, people used to communicate via fax. I had a startup where we would actually take orders by fax. We would send out customer communications by fax, very few email addresses, and so on and so off, right? So had we asked the same question in 1990, late 1990s, saying that why are you building a new infrastructure called internet? Why can't you just take the fax infrastructure and sort of scale it up and build the internet, right? That didn't work. That would not have worked. So the same way, when you're building an agentic infrastructure, which will potentially have trillions of agents interacting with each other around the globe, we need a new infrastructure. And that's what NANDA is all about. With that, I will hand it over to probably the biggest inspiration behind all the work that has been going on for the past 5 years in the Media Lab. NANDA didn't just start 2 weeks back. As I said, 2 weeks back, we have been talking for 2 weeks and we have been gearing towards the launch. It started 6, 7 years back. And we've been talking about building an open infrastructure for decentralized AI. And Ramesh is the history, the work behind it, 80% of the work behind it, and the inspiration. And here comes Ramesh Raskar, Associate Director of the Media Lab and a prof at the Media Lab. Ramesh, over to you.
Thank you, Shantanu. Thank you. What a pleasure to see you all here. I hope you can see me. It's just wonderful to see everybody here. And let's talk about the network AI agents in a decentralized architecture, NANDA. Next slide, please. So in the history of computing, what do you think is a bigger deal? Is it the personal computer or is it the internet? And one would argue that the ability to connect the computers has made a big difference compared to just the invention of PC. Next slide. And that's exactly why, as important as AI is, connecting AI is even more important. Today we live in the world of mainframe of AI, where back in the days, in the 80s, you would use a command line interface, a DOS-like interface to connect to mainframes, and today we write a prompt in ChatGPT or Claude to interact with the compute clusters or mainframes that are out there. From that, we're moving to the agentic AI, and you can think of that as the intranet of AI, because all these AI agents, all these AI resources are within a trusted, let's say, organizational boundary, and they all know each other's presence. From intranet, we have to move to the internet, and internet is a scary place. You don't know where things are, and you don't know their identity. And that's equivalent to the decentralized AI, where you have the internet of AI agents, where the agents are, transacting in this wisdom economy. They're siloed, they're trustless, and so on. But there's still a big difference between internet and going to the World Wide Web, which was, pioneered right here at MIT by Mr. Tim Berners-Lee. And for that, we needed 4 components. We needed HTTP for the servers. We needed HTML to render the pages. We needed URL to be able to quickly discover any website. And we needed a browser itself. And so NANDA mimics the World Wide Web of agents, where the agents are networked, they are siloed, and they are in a decentralized architecture. So again, NANDA stands for Networked AI Agents in a Decentralized Architecture. And for those of you joining from India, you know what NANDA means. NANDA means joy and ease. And of course, I should remind everybody that it's also the name of my sister. So I'm very inspired every time I talk about NANDA. And at home, my kids are talking about, what are we talking about our aunt every day nowadays? So, but all of you on the call probably realize how important the role of NANDA is in historically. Next slide. So imagine a scenario, thinking ahead that, my daughter's birthday is coming up, and I would like to design a birthday party for my daughter. Right now, you have to go to the stores, think about what the music you should play, who to invite, and so on. And imagine, go to the next slide. Imagine if you can just talk to an AI agent saying, hey, AI agent, my daughter's birthday is coming up. What should I do? And what it does is it sucks up all my photo roll and figures out whether my daughter likes more Taylor Swift or more Star Wars, and figures out the theme. Then goes talks to all the vendors who have party supplies for this, and does a query, and then goes to Spotify, picks up her favorite playlist, and composes all of that. And some other company already has a 3D model of my house and my backyard that you can see here. And I can just hold my phone and I can see on the screen through Sora or some kind of a Gen AI video platform, my daughter laughing and smiling with her friends. And I get 3 options, price 1, price 2, and price 3. And I can click on one of those prices, and next day all the supplies and all the instructions get delivered to me. So imagine all these things happening automatically. This will, of course, require many agents to talk to each other, but it's nearly impossible to do today because privacy. I mean, who the hell am I going to get? Why the hell am I going to give access to my photo roll to a third-party company? Why am I? Who's going to maintain the 3D model of my house? Why would the party store suppliers give up their inventory and prices, and so on? So there are a lot of issues here we need to solve, and that's why we need to build the internet, the web of AI agents. So let's keep that application in mind, because now we're transacting not just in money or information, but we're transacting with wisdom. Next slide. So as Shantanu reminded, we have been working in our group for last 10 years. We pioneered AutoML, which is AI that designs better AI. We created new forms of privacy-preserving machine learning called split learning, where you can do machine learning across data silos. Then we started developing something called knowledge markets, where you can assign dollar value to the data and the models. And of course, that itself requires new forms of machine learning. And finally, more recently, we've been working on highly creating AI collaboration in highly untrusted environments. So again, NANDA is the Internet of AI agents, where trillions of AI agents are going to collaborate across organization silos. They can communicate, they can navigate, they can socialize, but most importantly, they can participate in the wisdom economy. They can learn, earn, and transact on our behalf, sometimes autonomously, sometimes human in the loop. So we think this is going to unlock trillions of dollars of economic value, and it's very critical that we do this in a very open, transparent manner. And I'm very excited about talking to many experts, many developers from India, because I think India has been a pioneer in creating digital public infrastructure and concepts like Aadhaar and UPI and so on. And I think many experts in India and developers in India have figured out how to create this as a public good. And the fact that UPI is nearly free to an average citizen is magical, and they don't get bombarded, with a particular commercial interest on their ads or their privacy. And I think so. India might be one of the first countries to really think about the web of Internet of AI agents. Think about trillions of agents. Every citizen, right now on their phone has maybe 10 or 20 apps, but very soon each of you will have maybe 100 AI agents working on behalf. One for your health, one for your finance, one for education, one for your travel, one for negotiating with your cousins who have different plans than you, and so on. So there'll be trillions of agents that are out there, and the n square of that, trillion agent talking to a trillion agents, the number of interactions, are going to be 10 to the 24. Next slide. So there's a fantastic momentum in the field right now. Anthropic released MCP that allows agents to talk to tools and other APIs. And Google launched A2A, which also a protocol for two agents to talk to each other. But that's more like thinking like it's TCP/IP that allows two machines to talk to each other. Or maybe if you want to a little bit higher level, you could say it's more like HTTP. We can send an HTTP command and get served, which is great. But as you saw from the example from the birthday party, there's so much more you have to do to make the whole system work. Next slide. So for NANDA, we had to go well beyond agentic communication, well beyond TCP/IP, and think about how do we discover these agents? How do we search? How do we authenticate? How do we trace? Because there could be trillions of agents, and you don't know who you should talk to. And even if you talk to them, how do you know what their reputation is? Are they authenticated? And so on. Are they authenticated by one entity, which could be rent-seeking and influential, and try to be a gatekeeper? Or is it an entity that's highly diffuse, highly decentralized? And what happens if something goes wrong? How do you make it auditable? And so on. Next slide. So we will talk a little bit more about the agentic ecosystems, certificates, coupons, registration schemes, and registry options. So we would encourage you to join this movement, and very soon you'll hear about all these details. Next slide. So with that, actually, I'm going to hand it over to our amazing scientist at MIT, Pradyumna Chari, and he's really heading many efforts in this movement. I really want you to think about this as how the web of AI agents is going to behave more like the open, vibrant World Wide Web, as opposed to they go down the route of an app store or a Play Store. Because the one risk here is that there might be a single agent store that might emerge, and that agent store might decide everything about what machine learning models are used, how agents are created, what's the marketplace for it, how they will be upgraded, what features they may have or may not have, which agents can team with each other, which cannot, how are they working across international boundaries. So I think a highly centralized agent store is probably not where we want to go. And I hope all of us together will be able to convert this into a open, vibrant World Wide Web. And we're very delighted. We have about 15 top AI universities that have joined as nodes. In the beginning, you saw Shantanu talked about, the original internet started with 3 nodes, but we're already at about 15. And of course, you will see on this map, one thing that really bothers me, which is we have yet to have a top AI university in India. So we would love to, of course, use this call to appeal to the top AI universities to join us. And it's just not about hosting the nodes, but there are many other open source elements for this. So we'll share with you in the chat a sign up form, and we would like you to sign up there to join this movement. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ramesh. I think that was a great introduction. We'll come to all of this, but I would like to start with a quick demo video to sort of show folks Nanda in action so that they can get a sense of what we're talking about over here. So,
Right, so we're here in the NANDA host. Think of this as your personal control panel.
quick question. Can you hear the audio from the video on the
Yes.
Zoom?
Yes.
Bring and talking to tools, agents.
Let me restart this.
All right, so we're here in the NANDA host. Think of this as your personal control panel for discovering and talking to tools, agents, and services across the web. We'll start by browsing the registry. These are all the public tools and agents hosted on the NANDA registry right now. We can also add a custom one, and if it needs credentials, we just drop those in the Tool Credentials tab. So when we select tools, they get added to our local browser storage, no installs and no setup. Now we can ask the host, what tools do you have available? The host gives us a list, you will see now, and notice the ratings. That's from the reputation system, so every time someone uses a tool, they can rate it. The feedback is signed and stored so you know who to trust. And now let's test it. Let's ask, what's the weather in Boston today? All right, nice. Just another stunning day in Boston. All right, now let's try something a bit more complex, an actual agent. Can you ask the bakery if they can make a chocolate cake with a happy birthday sign? So behind the scenes, that bakery isn't just a server or a tool. It's a NANDA node, an agent that can reason, plan, and talk to its own MCP servers and tools. Maybe it checks ingredients, looks at available bakers, and even asks permission from a bakery owner. And there we go, confirmed. And that's the magic of NANDA. Agents and tools working together, decentralized, composable, and trust-aware. And this is just the beginning.
Awesome. So, yeah, that was a quick glimpse into Nanda. What you saw over there was one of our amazing team members, Maria, working through the Nanda host, which I'll talk to you about a bit more shortly, and showing you how the Nanda host is able to seamlessly interact with nodes and servers that are visible on our registry. And of course, these nodes and servers can be tools, resources, agents, and much more. So that's just a sneak peek for what we are talking about here, what we have right now, and sort of sets the stage for so much more to come. With that, hi everyone, my name is Pradyumna Chari. I'm a researcher here at the MIT Media Lab, working with the Nanda team. And I'm so excited to be here with all of you today to talk to you more about what's under the hood in Nanda and how you can be part of this next big internet of agents and be one of the stakeholders of this ecosystem. So, as Ramesh has already mentioned, the goal of Nanda is to imagine billions and trillions of specialized agents in a decentralized architecture that are working, interacting, transacting with each other. And the challenge, of course, is how can we enable this communication with each other behind organizational silos in a decentralized, trustless, unknown topology, uh, while enabling sort of collective intelligence. As Ramesh mentioned, we are very, very encouraged by the massive growth and massive potential shown by existing work such as MCP by Anthropic and A2A by Google. There is so much momentum towards this. If you open up LinkedIn or Twitter, every day you'll find at least three or four new companies saying they've done something with MCP or they've done something with A2A. So it's extremely fast, extremely motivating to see this uh, push. And yeah, uh, we want to build on top of these. Of course, as Ramesh mentioned, these are more at the communication level to enable agent to agent and agent to tool communication. But for the Internet of Agents, we want something that's so much more that includes communication, but is so much more than just communication. We want to be able to identify and discover other agents. We want to be able to do commerce with them. So transact, based on reputation, make payments, and so on and so forth. We want to be able to authenticate them, which is an extremely challenging task once you start thinking about the scale at which we are thinking this is about to go to. And of course, have reputation, traceability, and accountability, which are all going to be very important challenges. I'll skip that. But we here are a research group and we are particularly fascinated by all the new research avenues that will be opened by this massive internet of agents. There's going to be the need for discovery mechanisms, redesigned query systems, new and improved verification and payment protocols for this new world of agent to agent autonomous communication. And of course, there are economic models that need to be researched as well. Game theoretical incentives that need to be designed to ensure all stakeholders find benefit from this ecosystem. This new concept of knowledge markets, of course, that we at MIT Media Lab have been working on for several years, but we think will become the next big business avenue as agents become predominant. And of course, while doing all of this, we have to ensure that the economics of the Internet of Agent foster collaboration in a decentralized setting without pushing the market or pushing the ecosystem to sort of monopolistic setting. Uh, just to give you a sense of where we started, as Shanta and Ramesh have already touched upon, our lab has been on this journey for the past 10 years we've been building up pieces of this, starting from how to build these ML systems, building decentralized learning algorithms, uh, talking about how data can be valued in knowledge markets, talking about how agents can be orchestrated. And we've sort of been putting all of that together in the scaffolding of agentic communications and interactions over the past, it's been past almost a few weeks now, where we've been putting it all in the scaffolding to present to you as Nanda. What we started with was MCP. I know a lot of you over here have attended our hackathons and hacking sessions as we've been building up to launching Nanda. And so you would have played with the Claude desktop that exists out there, which is one of the very common hosts that work with the MCP protocol. And you would know that the vast majority of MCP servers that exist today are actually GitHub repositories. You go to the repository, you clone it, and you actually run the server on your own system. That's the only way to use Claude Desktop along with an MCP server. You clone the repo, you run it, and then that server talks to a tool, service, whatever be it. So one of the first things that we did as part of uh, putting out Nanda was to build a new host, the latest version of which you saw, that is capable of talking with MCP servers that are not hosted locally, but that can be hosted anywhere in the world. So everything that you saw in the demo that I showed up top, all of the servers were hosted in different parts of the world, hosted by different folks, and the host is able to seamlessly talk to all of these. And then as we launched with Nanda on the 15th, and as we launched today in India, we are launching with what we call the V3, which is, of course, our custom Nanda host that's able to talk to any server anywhere in the world. Uh, MCP servers that are geographically distributed, remotely hosted, and the host is capable of communicating, identifying, discovering them all through what we call the Nanda registry. And of course, our modified Nanda protocol, which of course builds on top of communication protocols, but has so much more in it, including capabilities such as logging, discovery, transactions, and much more, which I'll talk to you shortly. With that being said, let me get into the various components of Nanda and talk to you about four critical things that uh, that are sort of part of our launch right now. And all of these things, we hope to work with all of you in the vibrant AI ecosystem in India to build on top of all of this, and of course, make this so much more bigger than it already is. Uh, the first is the Nanda host that I've shown you already. The Nanda host can be thought of as the front end, sort of the packaging around an LLM that is capable of talking to the Nanda registry, and through that, uh, all these other MCP and Nanda servers, which are tools, resources, and agents that are part of the Nanda ecosystem already and are capable of and all interact with each other using the Nanda protocol. The Nanda registry can be thought of, you can think of the Nanda registry from the perspective of DNS. As we've alluded to several times in this talk, we are thinking about building the Internet of Agents from first principles. And what better thing to take inspiration from than one of the biggest engineering success stories, well, not in my lifetime, but in some of our lifetimes, but which is the World Wide Web. And so we think of the Nanda registry as a distributed registry that enables visibility and discoverability for agents. So all agents, resources, tools are hopefully registered in one of the currently 15 Nanda registries that we have that Ramesh talked about, which of course we hope to increase further. Uh, and these registries are distributed, synchronized, and enable visibility for all of the MCP and Nanda servers that folks like you on this call over here can very easily build, launch, and add to this Internet of Agents. What ties all of this together is, of course, the Nanda protocol, the protocol with which the host, the servers, and the registries talk with each other and enable communication, of course, but so much more, as I talked about. Uh, we've sort of built this figure from the perspective of a client server terminology because a lot of us are familiar with MCP, and that's the terminology that MCP uses. But what we're really looking to move towards as we go towards this Internet of Agent and towards this decentralized Internet of Agents, most importantly, is not a client server architecture, but instead a node based architecture. And what I mean by that is every node on this Internet of Agents on Nanda is not just a client or a server, but a node can behave as both. I can be on the Internet of Agents using my agent that has access to some specialized database that I have. For example, my favorite pizza recipes. I'm very passionate about that. And I could go on that Internet of Agents, and at one point, I can be a client and ask for more pizza recipes. I always want more pizza. So I can ask for more pizza recipes to add to my database. But I could also serve my pizza recipes to others who are also as inclined as me. So yeah, we are moving towards this idea of a node-based Internet of Agents, which is very exciting, and also actually a very big shift in mental model from what we have in the MCP and A2A ecosystem that exists today. That being said, let me start out with the four components and talk to you about one by one. By the way, all of this is open sourced. You can go to github.com/AI decentralized, and all of our code can be visible to you from over there, including our specification, host, registry front end, back end, everything. So we do encourage you to check it out and play around with it, build on top of it. First part is the protocol specification. As I mentioned, we are inspired by protocols such as MCP and A2A, but we add so much more on top of it to enable what we think is necessary for this Internet of Agents. Some of the things that we've added include identity certificates from the registry for each sort of Nanda node, which is agents, resources, and tools. A second very important concept, which is coupons, that we are introducing as part of the protocol. We believe that these coupons are sort of indicators of interaction and transaction that happen between agents or between nodes in this Internet of Agents, and that are signed by both the participants and can be verified against the registry for validity. We believe that this sort of set of coupons that are part of these agent-to-agent interactions will form the backbone for several key services such as reputation, transaction, discovery, and so much more. The third is the idea of registration. We, of course, are also launching an SDK along with the Nanda ecosystem, the Nanda architecture. And the goal is that the SDK will allow seamless interfacing between the registry components, the Nanda nodes, as well as the host and so many other things as the protocol. Sort of building on top of that, we'll certainly have SDK specific schemes from within the SDK as part of the Nanda protocol to enable operations such as searching on the registry, adding hosts and clients to the registry, and so much more directly within the SDK. The goal is to provide easy developer tools for folks to build on top of and explore the Nanda ecosystem as easily as possible. And finally, as we mentioned, from ground up, the goal is to keep this open, decentralized, and not tied up into one uh, strong requirement. So what I mean by that is the protocol, all of this that we are showing you over here, the host, the registry, everything is an instance of a host or a registry. It's not the instance of a host or a registry. And in fact, the goal is to show you how we are thinking about it and get your feedback, have you working on this and build the next versions of these. So the protocol is defined from that perspective. You can decide which registry your Nanda node is going to be identified against, registered with, and the protocol is designed to ensure you have the freedom to do that. So with that being said, I'll move to the next part, next key component of the Nanda ecosystem, Nanda architecture, which is the Nanda registry, which is live and running right now. So you can go to this URL, and in fact, I will take you there as well to ui.nandaregistry.com to give you a sense of what we have up and running on the Nanda registry. So this is the front end of the Nanda registry. As I said, you can think of it as a sort of identity affirming registry, very similar to DNS, where the idea is once you're on the registry, you are discoverable on the Internet of Agents. So if I go to the Explorer over here, you can see all of the different live agents that we have, agents, resources, tools that we have up here on the Nanda registry. We are almost at 50 right now, and we hope with the speed, talent, and enthusiasm that's present on this call, we hope that we are able to double this in a matter of double this basically every day until we have a vibrant Internet of Agents ecosystem. So just to give you a sense of some of the very cool, and I think Chris will talk about this later as well, but just to give you a sense of some of the very cool MCP servers and Nanda servers that we have already up there, we have tools for web scraping, we have servers such as Spotify, we have very interesting new tools such as memory for agents, uh, and then logistics. This is an another node built by one of our launch partners, Mitsubishi Electric, who have given an extremely cool service, which is drone delivery logistics. And then there's so much more. There's forensics, there's physiological monitoring, uh, there is construction AI, just anything that you can think of is already in some sense part of the Nanda ecosystem right now as part of our amazing launch partners here at MIT. But we hope that all of you over here can build on this so much more. And I'll very shortly talk to you about how you can very easily get onboarded and start building your own Nanda registries. Nanda nodes as part of the registry. The registry also has a backend, by the way, if you're inclined to look at the API spec. The backend is just at nandaregistry.com. It's an API spec. I don't know why this is, I think I've got the URL wrong, but you can check the backend that's linked on nanda.mit.edu if you want to get a sense of what the API spec is for the registry. But yeah, the registry is also open sourced. The code is open source at github.com, AI decentralized art gallery backend. Abhishek, our lead developer, likes to call this the art gallery because we think all the work that you do is no less than the most valuable art. And we are the gallery that we use to make that visible. But anyways, you can go to this GitHub repo, clone the repo, very easy. It's a Dockerized container, so you can just run the Docker container, and you can be one of the nodes on the Internet of Agents. Uh, these will all be synced on the backend to ensure that you're an active node on the Internet of Agents. I've already spoken about this. So registry has some primary tasks, such as discovery, verification, capabilities, reputation, and we are very excited to have more and more of you on board this registry so that you are discoverable, verifiable, all that fun stuff. Third is the Nanda host. We've already seen the demo for the Nanda host, so I'll not talk too much about it right now. But the Nanda host is basically an agentic host that is capable of talking with the Nanda ecosystem via the Nanda protocol and through with distributed MCP servers. And it uses the Nanda registry to make all of these MCP servers visible to it. Before I get to this, I also want to point you to the Nanda webpage at nanda.mit.edu that you can go to get access to all of these different components. So we have our registry, documentation, host, and a brief description of what we have going on here at Nanda. So I would strongly encourage you to go to all of these. We also have a bunch of introductory videos. Uh, I think these are some incredible videos by Ramesh with so Ramesh did this talk at 2020 in 2023, but if you look at this video, you will find that it fits perfectly with what we are doing here, which is some incredible foresight. So I would strongly encourage you to check out this webpage and keep tracking this webpage because this is going to be our central hub for all things Nanda. So please do that. With that being said, the part that I'm most excited about today, which is how to get all of you on this call onboarded on Nanda. As with any Internet of Agents, the value is in the network. The value is in all the services that you guys can be providing. Because I don't want to be the only person with a cell phone when there's no other cell phones out there, right? The merit with such network-based technologies is to have stakeholders providing their expertise. And we think you can do this very, very easily by registering your first MCP server on the Nanda registry. All you have to do is go to this web page over here, which is github.com/AI decentralized/Nanda servers, which has very, very simple documentation that you can follow to set up and build your first MCP server. We've given sort of the packages that you need to install very simply. We've given example sort of MCP servers that work right out of the box. This weather API code, for example, that you can copy paste and it runs right out of the box. We've also given some debugging tools that you can use. One of these very cool tools called MCP Inspector that you can use to directly check that your MCP server works perfectly. I would encourage you to go to this webpage, github.com/AI decentralized/Nanda-servers to follow these instructions. And I also did it. I'm sure almost 90% of you over here are much better coders than me, but I went ahead and followed these instructions and I've created a YouTube video for it that you can see. It's called Add Your First MCP Server to the Nanda Registry in 15 minutes on our YouTube channel for Camera Culture Group. You can look at this video. I run you through a very simple inventory database example to set up your first MCP server on the Nanda Registry. And I swear to you, if you follow these instructions, if you already know what you want to do, all you have to do to build your own MCP server in the Nanda registry is, let me go to this link again. Yeah. Uh, is just take the boilerplate code over here and just define your own tools. So if you want to do a CSV lookup, you can define that tool. If you want to do a API call, you can define that cool tool. But that's the only thing that you need to change. If you change that, then your MCP server is up and running and ready to be hosted on the Nanda registry, visible to all the stakeholders on this Internet of Agents. So I would encourage you to do this in this world of Claude and ChatGPT and all of these things. Maybe you will do it even faster than 15 minutes, but it's very simple. You can always reach out to us as part of another team. If you get stuck, we are always available to help you, get on calls with you, and guide you through this very exciting time of getting on this Internet of Agents. What can you build your first MCP server on? It can be anything. People have been, as I mentioned to you, very, very innovative in their first MCP servers. It could be something as simple as an MCP server for your company or project's web page, where you maybe scrape some content of your own web page, build a CSV file or something like that, and your MCP server is just answering questions about your products for folks on this Internet of Agents who may be interested in what you do. Your MCP server could be an inventory database, which is the example I go over in my YouTube video, which you can check out. Uh, I'm plugging my YouTuber career a lot recently. So yeah, you can build an MCP server for your inventory. You can build an MCP server for an API or tool, and you can do so much more in this ecosystem of agents. So with that, that's sort of my cue to stop talking and conclude my part. But I hope this gave you a quick sense of all the various components that Nanda includes and how this is so much more bigger than just a communication protocol. And most importantly, how you can today, right away, during this call, right after this call, build your first MCP server and be part of the Nanda ecosystem. So with that, very excited to start seeing the number of MCP servers going up. And thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Pradyumna. So now we start our Q&A session, and I would request Krish to bubble up the questions that have come up both on chat and Q&A and pose it to our presenters here. Chris, over to you.
Thank you. So this was great, Pradhaman, and seems like the audience is amazingly interested. We have already 37 questions on our side. So we'll take few questions first of all. So one question which I would see is that there have been people been talking about, does registry support or decentralized identifier within a blockchain network such as Hyperledger or Sovereign? So like they're asking if the NANDA registries support decentralized identifiers within a blockchain.
It's a great question. So right now, the way I'd like to answer this is as follows. The goal of the registry is to serve as a DNS or an identifying registry to agents out there. This is the goal. And yes, the registry would benefit a lot from blockchain-based technologies such as decentralized identifiers and so much more amazing technology that exists in the blockchain ecosystem. As I mentioned, this is one implementation of the registry that builds on top of the Nanda protocol. And right now, we are not using too much blockchain technology in deploying this registry. But that's not at all saying that this registry, your implementation of the registry could not have blockchain-based technology. So yeah, the protocol itself is completely flexible and supports all types of decentralized identifiers, blockchain-based technology, whatever be it, and the registry would definitely benefit from it. So yeah, if you are, as I mentioned, all the code is open sourced. You can build your own instance of the registry that builds on top of the Nanda protocol, and you should be able to use all of these cool technologies to do it. And we will as well moving forward.
Thank you. So there is one very interesting question. This is somebody who has said, we are building U2 Touch2, an AI-driven oral health platform with a focus on early detection and intelligent patient routing. Could Nanda be leveraged to enhance trust, traceability, and consent in patient image data, especially in underserved community where digital infrastructure is weak and healthcare accountability is low? And if it is possible, how do we integrate Nanda principle in our own platform?
It's a great question. That's a great question. So, I think the question is about how uh, underserved communities can benefit from patient data from other places, uh, and how can Nanda aid in this sort of endeavor? Is this correct? Right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
perfect. Yeah. I think that you've hit the nail on the head, because this is one of the aspects that we are so very excited about, which is this idea of knowledge markets. So one of the very amazing things that we think will be enabled via Nanda and via this Internet of Agents is the ability for people to take their specialized databases, it could be specialized clinical or medical databases, and not directly expose or share that database, which in medical cases is often very difficult because of privacy concerns, HIPAA concerns, and a lot of regulations that are rightfully there. So what this Internet of Agents allows is not to directly share the data, but actually share insights and knowledge from the data by connecting your database with an agent or an LLM in front of it, and enabling that to interact via this Internet of Agents using the tenets of privacy, verifiability, identification, and so on. So yeah, we definitely do think, and we are in fact here at MIT, we are working on research problems in this space of knowledge markets to enable such an interaction of data and knowledge between through a decentralized system using this Internet of Agents, uh, while ensuring aspects such as privacy and trust. So yeah, we definitely do think this is going to be the next big thing.
Great. So there are a lot of questions about traceability. So there is one question that how is traceability of data traveling through different MCP nodes are designed. So I think like we can also like let the audience know that they can go to the documents and have a look at it. But
Absolutely.
Pratham, if you can give a overall quick brief, because we will then look into other questions as well, that how is traceability of data traveling through different MCP nodes is designed.
Great, great. So, one of the things that we want to enforce, and we've also mentioned already, is that Nanda, we look at Nanda as sort of a minimally required set of protocols and guidelines that we have started designing, on top of which a lot of very important services can be built. So Nanda can be thought of as a fundamental protocol for this Internet of Agents, on top of which all of you can come and build your MCP servers, add your apps, build services such as search, and so on and so forth. So within that framework, the way we are thinking about traceability, as I mentioned, is in the context of interaction coupons between one of the components as the concept of interaction coupons between agent to agent interactions. And then what the Nanda protocol allows for is for these coupons to be signed by participating entities, and these coupons have fields that enable aspects such as transactions, storing feedback on the interaction, and storing important sort of traceability aspects such as in node and out node, for example. But other than that, it's pretty much very general. So we believe that at the protocol level, we should not have anything more complex than this. And we believe one level above, maybe as we start building by sort of next versions of the registry, all of this interesting information that the protocol level captures can be used to enable uh, robust traceability and so on and so forth. And we are already incorporating some of that in the registry, but you can look at that from our open source code base. But the very simple answer is the our tenet of traceability is founded on this idea of interaction coupons and building on top of that.
Thank you so much. So there are a few points that we are looking at, and now when I'm going through all the question, people have been asking that to understand that how is Nanda different from MCP and ACP as a protocol, and somebody also asked that how is it different from Aadhaar? So maybe Professor Ramesh can address that how is Aadhaar different from Aadhaar-based framework, but Prathaman, you can just mention that how is different from MCP and ACP.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's a great question, and that's a very important nuance to address as well. So, first of all, at the very outset, we are extremely inspired by the work from MCP, ACP, some other cool stuff from one of our, actually from Cisco, who's a collaborator with us at Nanda, which is called Agency. Really great stuff happening in the space. But to give you a juxtaposition, so starting with MCP, for example, Anthropic views MCP, and you can actually get the sense from the terminology that Anthropic uses, which is a client server terminology. Anthropic views MCP as almost a hub and spoke model for agent tool interactions. So MCP from the ground up is designed to ensure that the LLM in the center, in Anthropic's case, the Claude LLM, has maximized context from tools. And so MCP is defined that way. So the LLM is always the client. Any tool or service you build is always the server. And MCP is designed to establish communication between these two. So MCP, agent to tool communication. A2A goes one step further, enables agent to agent communication, certainly, and has some very interesting aspects such as agent identifier, agent capabilities, all of these very cool things. But broadly, A2A is built within a broadly known topology. So on the Google Cloud ecosystem, within Google Cloud providers, A2A allows for agents to be put together and orchestrated. So A2A is more of a known topology, agentic orchestration, and agentic communication framework. When you think about Nanda, it of course incorporates all of these and it supports all of these. It supports MCP, it supports agent to agent interactions, but it's so much more because we believe the internet is not just about communication, it's about discoverability in an unknown topology, it's about reputation, it's about identity, uh, and it's about so much more. So you can think about of Nanda as building on the foundations of stuff such as MCP and A2A, but adding all of this additional infrastructure at protocol level and infrastructure level to enable a truly decentralized Internet of Agents.
Thank you. Thank you, Pradhaman. So since we're talking about the agent communication and from a deployment perspective, there is a certain aspect that I'm seeing in the repeated question where people are asking that how this will work, especially in the context of real world deployment and data trust, specifically from authenticity and the privacy point. So perhaps you can show the slide where we're focusing on the privacy side and maybe answer that question so that people can understand that from a deployment perspective, it is how can that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a few aspects to this actually. Sorry, just a second. There are several aspects to this. From a deployment perspective, again, so as I mentioned, the Nanda registry, the Nanda protocol itself is extremely lightweight or as lightweight as we could have built it to be to enable this ecosystem. So you are in control of your deployment. As I mentioned, you deploy your own MCP server, Nanda server, and make it part of the Nanda registry. And broadly, the only thing the Nanda registry is doing is making you visible on the Internet of Agents. So on your end, you can decide who to serve and Nanda provides for that based on identifiers, transaction coupons, via the registry and so on and so forth. And Nanda allows for servers and nodes to have API keys. So you can have gated servicing based on API keys, based on who you want to serve. You can decide who you respond to via a service based on the identifier that the registry provides, based on the interaction coupons. You can also use interaction coupons for different MCP servers that are stored to use that as part of a reputation mechanism that you can use to decide who you serve. So Nanda provides all the scaffolding. It provides the privacy, it provides the identity, it provides you the ability to have API keys and so much more as you provide your service on this Internet of Agents. But you're completely free to be as open and as closed as you'd like to be. So one of the examples that I like to give over here is one of our collaborators, one of the launch companies that worked with us is HCL Tech, and they are very interested in hosting a Nanda registry uh, internally as part of their internal ecosystem. And they are able to do that. So their Nanda registry will host their internal Nanda servers and nodes, which they can host as part of the registry and use it to orchestrate interactions internally. But at any given point of time, they could decide to choose some Nanda nodes from outside their internal registry and uh, use that as well as part of their agent-to-agent interaction.
Thank you. Thank you, Pradhan. There is one question since we are dealing with the orchestration side of it. This is an interesting one. How will Nanda support base memory across multiple agents and conversations? I don't want to lose all my conversation with different LLM agents and centrally index and recall them in future conversations.
It's a great question. Again, and in fact, so I'll answer this by opening up the registry for you, because we actually have an MCP server on the Nanda registry that already does this, by an amazing company called 42OS here. So, and this is exactly how we think the Nanda layer should, the Nanda architecture should address this. As I said again, and sorry, I'm repeating this very often, but I think this is an important point to note. We don't want to build the memory layer for agent-to-agent interaction on Nanda, because that would be sort of very presumptuous of us to think that we can build the best memory layer for agent-to-agent interaction across this world. What we want to give is the scaffolding, the protocol, and the ability for others to build the memory layer that can be used for agent-to-agent interaction. And that's what this organization 42OS has done. They've built a memory layer for AI agents that allows for agentic interactions to store memories, to delete memories, and this memory layer can be used across different agents, different orchestrations, different communications, so on and so forth. And anyone can build their own memory layer, build on top of this, build something better, put it on the Nanda registry. And what Nanda will allow is for you to discover this memory layer service for agent-to-agent orchestration and use that within your agentic teams. So to answer your question, Nanda by design does not want to specify one specific memory layer orchestration for agentic AI. Instead, we just want to provide the tools and scaffolding that allows folks out there to build the best memory layer possible for agentic orchestration, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. So since we are on the screen right now,
Yeah.
so this is a great thing if you can also go to the Swagger, because this is directly a question which they want to ensure that how do we ensure that there are not any bad faith MCP servers or registries? How do you ensure that how do you verify them? So I know that there is when I registered, there is a verification process. So
Absolutely.
maybe we can talk
So
about it
let
as
me
well.
actually sign up very quickly, because the verification tab gets visible after I sign up. My servers. Let's check one of the servers that I have. I have this office supplies inventory server. Great. So there are a few different things that we use to within the Nanda registry to enable reputation, verification, identity, so on and so forth. So of course, there's this interaction coupon based verification that we have as part of Nanda, based reputation, I mean, that will be used to track reputation of folks over time. We also have a human reputation component, because we believe at the outset, at least, uh, there has to be some human in the loop component as part of this Internet of Agents to guide it in the correct way. So we also have a human reputation system. We have an agent to agent reputation system. And the third thing we have is verification. So once you build your own MCP server and you host it somewhere, you can actually verify it using several different techniques, but essentially connecting a sort of hash key that the registry provides you with your hosted MCP server. And once you do that, the registry knows for sure that this account has control over the domain where the server is hosted, and hence you are the rightful owner of that domain. And so now reputation and traceability goes back to a physical entity in the world from an agent or a server out there. And that can be one of the important components for verification and reliability on the server.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Pradyuman. What I think there have been like a continuous question on the tech side. So
Yeah,
what we can do is, because I think there are a few questions related to collaboration and research opportunities, which I think like, you and Professor Amish can take up. What
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
also thinking is we have already listed all the questions. We will put it into a central place, and
Amazing.
for all those very specific tech questions, we can take them up. And I think already Professor Ramesh said that we are going to have another session, which will be more of a deep dive and
Absolutely.
tutorial based session. So we can take those questions or those particular points at that point. Very
Absolutely.
specific to protocols, because as I see that, you cannot really make them understand that how this protocol is different from like an A2A protocol. If you're looking into A2A and MCP, how is NANDA registry working on it? So it's basically that we need to make it sure that it's a hands-on session which can be helpful.
Absolutely.
So there are few questions. There have been many people who are very much interested in the research opportunities and collaboration. So Pradyuman, Professor Ramesh, Professor Shantanu, if you can please, answer to that.
Uh, I don't know if Ramesh is here. Yeah.
Yeah, Pradyumna, why don't you take it, and or I can take it. Someone,
Shanti, you can start and then I can go after you.
okay, someone needs to let me turn on my video. It
Why
says
can you not
organizer has disabled your video.
try
Yep,
now?
yep, perfect. Thank you. Look, there are two things that you'll see. We'll post it right away. There are two sheets. One is in under sandbox, B79 under sandbox, where you can sign up with your ideas on what you can contribute and what you can build. And then there is a separate volunteer sign up sheet where you can indicate, for example, if you want to join as a programmer, join as a project manager, and so on, right? Um, we we need all the help we can get. The third area of help where I personally need help is that it was sort of a bit of a disappointment that first map of Nanda was didn't have anyone from India included, right? Any universities or research institutes and so on. So if you are here and if you are a student or a professor or a faculty or a researcher and think you can help us, I will post my personal email, which is the MIT email, so they can reach out to me personally. I will work with you to get at least a few places in India up on that map. So these are three areas, right? One is Sandbox. We'll send the link and bit.ly, volunteer sheet, as well as being able to send the first set of sandboxes so they can start building, India as a Nanda hub. One of my sort of personal challenge or personal mission has been, and all of our personal mission has been, we have been working for 10 years, that we don't think right now the world has two models of AI development. There's a US model, which is sort of chaotic, lots of money and lots of compute. There's a China model, which is a sort of top driven, lots of money, but less and less compute because of the restrictions and so on. There is no India model, right? Very limited amount of investment, very limited amount of efforts. And I'm not even sure, given our public infrastructure, given that we have already excelled in building systems that are decentralized, that we should be taking the centralized approach to building the AI infrastructure. So this is a great moment and a great opportunity for us as a nation uh, to work on a Nanda-like infrastructure. We invented DPI, we invented Aadhaar, we invented a bunch of things that the you can speak about around the world very, very proudly, and we all do. let's make the NANDA in a similar fashion so that when the next generation of internet 10 years from now is thriving around the world with trillions and trillions of agents working on our behalf, we can all be proud of and say 10 years back, we were in the first meeting of NANDA on April 17th, and we talked about it and see how the world has changed. That's my motivation. That's my intent. And I hope you all can join, feel emotionally connected as I do with this project and join and help us. Anyone wants to, we will have two more speakers. Chris, who is patiently waiting. Chris was up till 5 in the morning, and then Marco. But before that, I just wanted to see if a few of you can speak about, one or two lines about so far, what is your takeaway, where you think you can contribute, and so on. Just raise your hand and Joby can promote you. This is your opportunity to shine. Or what you can do, you can raise your hand. We'll get Chris started, and then once Chris gets done, or maybe Chris and Marco gets done, we can get those feedback. But do raise your hand so that we have a list of people to promote. All right, Chris, do you want to get started?
Yes, yep, I'll go ahead. Thank you. And you can go to the next slide. Right, so this is a quick motivation here. So we're looking at AI agents at the frontier and how this is going to transform GDP at the macro level. Next slide.
Chris, can I pause you for a second?
Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to do a quick introduction to Chris. We have sort of done limited introduction to ours. Besides being a researcher at MIT, Chris is also the only person I know who is a 4 times Olympian. You don't see an Olympian every day in your life. He is in the US Olympics Committee and as a referee, and look him up, very esteemed. And it's sometimes very inspiring to see a person who is so great in sports as well as in academics and an entrepreneur. Chris, I thought I'd just make you blush a little bit before you get started.
Well, thanks very much for that kind intro. Yeah, it's been a phenomenal experience working at 4 Olympics, just to see the best of the best in that realm, and really enjoying this NANDA moment here right now as we launch this next stage of the internet of opportunity, as we see, like, literally on this call, like, the best of the best, and we're the set of people that have this opportunity right now to define that next step. And so here on the slide, we just think, if you think about what's the original source of GDP, so kind of 1 person moves to 2 person, and then there's an opportunity to generate economic activity between 2 people. And as you increase the network of people, then you can increase the number of edges there between the nodes and the potential to develop economic activity there. If you go next slide. So previously that was just the people. Here we looked at the next step out for generating GDP. So when we bring in organizations and entities into this, and so we have people and the entities, and typically we talk about that as B2B transactions, B2C transactions, etc. And so that's how we generate GDP right now. All of the world's GDP is generated through this B2B, B2C, etc., just a 2x2 grid. Next slide. In the future, the generators of GDP will, in addition to people and the business, will also be managed agents and autonomous agents. Next slide. And when we bring those into the structure for generating GDP, so who's going to do the transactions, where are they going to occur, and how are they going to occur? Then we move from what's now a 2x2 grid to this 4x4 grid, and so we can see that there's lots of opportunity, and this will come in large part from the people on this call, starting agents that will on the NANDA registry, that will create this value and create added value. Next slide. as those networks, the networks of AI agents, the networks of people, networks of business, those new combinations that we're starting to see right now will generate this additional GDP, partly because there's a new combination, and partly because, and when the agentic layer comes into this, the agentic piece can decision much faster, and that will move money through the economic channels faster, which means that the same money can be used more times in a given time period and be used to generate additional GDP. Next slide. And so one of the consequences of this might be that there's a knowledge work reshoring. Next slide. So as we know, a lot of knowledge-based work has traditionally been outsourced over the last generation or so. When we look to the future now with AI agents, possibly through MCP servers, some of this knowledge-based work will be able to be done by agents and could lower costs, speed up delivery, and potentially onshore execution of that knowledge-based work through using an agent that is an onshore server. And next slide. That can have geopolitical implications because countries could retain more GDP kind of internally instead of outsourcing work, and could substantially alter the trade dynamics and dependencies that are coming. And so there's a potential for reshoring knowledge work, and that might shift the globalization paradigm. But as we look forward to next slide. Next. As we look forward to sort of this impact on world economies, there could be this potential for the impact on globalization, for reshoring of knowledge work. But in addition to that, that could be approached in a different way. And we'll go to next slide. So right now, there's an opportunity for investing in India to protect the future by training workers that are currently doing outsourced knowledge-based work, training those workers to use agentic systems. The agentic systems could be hosted through the NANDA registry, and that will mean those workers then will be able to maintain the competitive edge. So that's a large opportunity there. And then we can also build this through that process. We build this core competencies in NANDA by joining the MIT NANDA working groups. And you should contact one of the core team for that opportunity, or go to the website, and that provides you individually and also organizationally to come and join the working groups and be a part, not just as an individual contributor, but then join these teams that are developing the working group aspects that we're defining the future here. And so when we look at Pradyumna covered a good number of the examples before. We had on Tuesday we had over 50 startups at a summit at MIT with over 1,000 attendees. We had Andrew Ng speak. We had Snowflake. We had Salesforce. Many investors, and one of the investor panels that was purely focusing on this area. They deploy over $1 billion in this space, and we had multiple investors on site at that point. So we've highlighted a couple already. 42OS providing memory for agents, and HCL Tech also on the registry providing access to products. And then next we're going to go to Marco, who's going to introduce Meshify. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here and show a little bit about Meshify. Next slide, please. Okay, so small medium enterprises in US are basically the bedrock of US economy. 99.9% of all businesses are small medium enterprise, and roughly they employ 50% of the people. But the problem of small medium enterprise is that basically 50% are productive as large corporation. They lose over 500 billion a year only in missed revenue for poor leading management. So they are not able to track lead opportunities, and basically they lose a ton of money. But the thing is that it's not a data problem. They have a lot of data. It's a decision problem, and it is a process problem. So in general, teams in these small, medium enterprises are overwhelmed. Tools don't talk each other. Insights are basically lost in the noise. And this is a very big problem for small, medium enterprises. So next slide, please. So basically, we started to work and try to solve that big problem with Meshify. And as you can see here, we call the first agentic CRM running on NANDA. So the idea of Meshify is not just another CRM, is solving a problem that other CRMs trying to solve, but in a completely new way. So basically our system start to read sales representative mail, inbox, messages, audio, and basically from all this bunch of data, extract leads, opportunity, and basically put those leads and opportunity in a CRM internal that now is managed by agents and not by humans that are not very good in tracking leads and so on. So plus, we have a crew of agents that what they do is follow up on leads. They even negotiate with them, thanks for NANDA, and with supplier, generate quote and optimize workflow, basically in real time. So the idea is basically there is no micromanagement, no manual input, just intelligent action out of those agents. I said before that Meshify will be the first agentic CRM running on NANDA because we are planning to basically, Meshify will be a MCP compatible service on NANDA registry, basically exposing a list of tools like lead extraction, autonomous negotiation, supplier quoting, quote generation, and so on, like tools and resources. So this is it. We are very happy to show what we are doing in Meshify and be part of the NANDA, the big NANDA community. Thank you very much.
Marco, one quick question. If you want to introduce yourself for a couple of minutes.
Oh, definitely. I'm Marco Cello. I come from Italy, but basically I'm the founder of Meshify here in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and Meshify is basically built is inside a scale-up labs that is a venture studio here in Cambridge. So basically, yeah, we'll try to solve the big small medium enterprise problem.
All right. Someone just posted, Marco, that Sanjeev Vidari saying that they are facing a similar problem. India has 40% of India's GDP is also small, medium, and enterprises. They want to collaborate. Sanjeev, if you Marco's email address is on the slide, if you want to shoot him an email, is that okay?
Exactly. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, if you can, Sanjeev, if you can send me an email there, and then we will connect after on LinkedIn and talk. Thank you very much.
All right. Does anyone want to now? Okay, Ranjit, do you want to speak first, or do you want to see if anyone wants to be promoted to a panelist and speak a few words about how they have done so far? Their sense of the event so far, and if they want to speak about anything specific.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
All right. Ranjit, you start because I haven't seen a hands up yet. Hold on. There are 7. Sorry, I was in the wrong tab. There are 7 people who have their hands up.
There are 7.
Peterson,
There are 7 folks who have raised their hands up. Let's. I'll promote 2 of them now, and then we'll have Ranjit's session, and then we'll come back.
Perfect. I was on the wrong tab. My apologies. Let's. Juby, you can go promote.
Yes, I will do that.
Maybe Peterson, go in that. Peterson.
Just hold on. Kesh, I have promoted you to. Okay. Kesh, if you're online, you've been allowed. You can speak now and post your comment.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, go
Vikesh,
ahead.
we can hear you.
Okay. Yep. So, sorry. Yeah, my name is Vikesh. I'm based out of Goa, originally from Boston, but I was just calling, want to talk about DPIN and how like you can connect agents to the data that's coming from like maybe these weather stations that are being hyperlocal weather stations that are being implemented. We're looking at trying to do this for some local weather stations in Goa right now, and some sound pollution monitoring systems. And trying to connect those APIs to an MCP that can transmit that data. So yeah, that's about it. There's a lot of these different types of sensors that are collecting data in the DPIN ecosystem. So I think there's a big opportunity to create these types of data DAOs basically, and connect MCPs to them so agents can use this data.
Perfect. Kesh, thank you for your interest. And, as you said, put your name in the list of, if you go to the spreadsheet, does everyone have the spreadsheet as well as the Google Docs? The links are being shared. Joby, you can probably share one more time. You can go there
Yeah.
and put yourself as a volunteer. I shared my email address. If you shoot me an email, we'll also get connected. Next.
We'll take one more speaker, Pankaj Gupta. I'm promoting you to talk. Please go ahead.
Sure. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Pankaj. I'm a principal software engineer at working with InfoMarket. So just to quickly give you a brief about InfoMarket. So we are building technology for construction and infrastructure domain in India, right? Specifically in India. So a quick background, it's very traditional industry, being India, being anywhere in the world, not of lot of technologies not there which we can build over it. So around more than 5 years we have been doing this. So now what we have started doing this, we have started building lot of agentic software with the knowledge base of this particular industry. So let's say if you're a consumer who wants to get your house renovated, right? So you have a struggle today to find the person who can get the job done from the materials where you can get in. So now the different agents can help. Basically that is something which you are building. The basically idea is the agents will start helping consumer to connect with different parts in the industry from this knowledge base itself, and get you what you wanted to get done, right, at your at your place, right? So that is what we are doing. So we are constantly working on building the knowledge base for construction space specifically, uh, and connecting different loops or different people in the ecosystem. Like let's say for your consumer, dealer, distributors, retailers, a big company like L&T or Prestige, or different contract partners, manufacturer, then you have your mason, carpenter, these guys. So they will be part of this particular network. So that is what we are trying to do. Would like to collaborate with Nanda to see what all things we can leverage out of the box, or maybe give it back to the community on with respect to the specific construction and infrastructure industry. Yep, that's
Yeah, thank you, Pankaj. Joby, Ranjit is a very good friend. I think he would not mind if we promote two more. And then Ranjit, you've been a big supporter of the industry. You are a VC yourself. And let's hear a few more folks who are attending the event, because I don't want people to start dropping off little. Some people may, well, it's night in India. It's not really beginning
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
day.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Okay, perfect. Joby,
Yeah.
promote two more. And there are unfortunately no women I can see on the list. If you are attending and if you are a lady, Okay, there did, after I just said it, someone raised hand. Juby, if you can promote.
Yeah.
Chandana and Bhavna, two ladies raised their
Chandana,
hand.
Chandana and Bhavna. Chandana, I'm promoting you first. Yeah, please go ahead and speak, Chandana.
Hello, hi, I'm Chandana. I'm based out in Bangalore and I'm a product designer and I come with about 6 years of experience designing both tangible and intangible products, 5 years in product design, UI, UX alone. And happy to be here and exciting. All the information that was shared was really exciting and looking to be a part of it as a volunteer and support with product design requirements and how to make NANDA amazing.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Chandana.
Please make sure you key in your name and details in the documents that have been shared, which is a call for volunteer list.
Yes, it's done.
All right. Thank
you,
you.
Chandana. We have engineers and everyone else, but no designers signed up yet on the sheet. So this is fantastic.
This is great news for me.
Yeah, thank you. We'll take one more speaker. Priyanka Soni. Oops, just hold on. Priyanka Soni. Priyanka Soni, if you're on, please go ahead and speak. Okay, looks like Priyanka is not on. We'll move on. Bhavana Narain. Bhavana Narain, if you're on, please go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Priyanka Soni. I'm working as a project manager in Fusion Business Solutions. We have developed one auto survey tool for the Indian insurance market, auto insurance market, where automatic claim processing will be there and automatically survey will be done with the help of that tool.
Okay, thanks, Priyanka. Please register your interest in the documents that are shared as to how you would like to contribute, and we can take it from there.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you. Ranjit, back to you.
Yeah, a quick introduction before Ranjit starts off a quick profile. So Ranjit, thanks for joining us here. Ranjit is a science fiction enthusiast who has built his career at the intersection of technology and the future. A USC alumnus, he's a deep tech venture capitalist, angel investor, inventor, and operator. Please go ahead, Ranjit.
Sure. Thanks, Juby. Thanks, Antanu. Hey, so I'm a venture capitalist, a deep tech venture capitalist. Been doing deep tech for close to 30 years now. Yeah, why don't we go to the next slide? Yeah, so one of my investments, so this is an angel investment of mine, My Seller Central. They actually compete with Amazon's Seller Central, and they enable people to get onto Amazon very quickly. And so when we did when I did the investment, the vision that I had been given was that, hey, we have agents and these agents will talk to each other, which is, and take decisions on their own, which is just another way of saying autonomous. And then eventually, there'll be agents everywhere, which is nothing but saying that there'll be frameworks and, they'll come together, right? So that was the vision that I had invested in 2 years back. The current status is out here. That agents are deployed. So actually, these agents have been deployed on Amazon and on ONDC. So they're able to get sellers onto Amazon as well as onto ONDC. And ONDC, for those who do not know, is an open marketplace in India. It's kind of analogous to UPI, but in the marketplace for sellers, right? So they've actually achieved this with AI agents. The next is, okay, are these agents taking independent decisions? They are. So, if they will kind of go through your work, and if they find that the content you've created for selling your stuff is not up to the mark, the agents will automatically upgrade that content, right? On their own, no human in the loop, nothing. So it is kind of autonomous, and then the agents talk to each other. And while that is, that is a kind of a framework, it's an internal framework, right? It's not an external one. And so that's kind of where my investment stands, right? So I'm speaking as an investor, but also as somebody who's interested in this. Let's go to the next slide, Juby. Right. So now what happens, right? The MCP standardization has enabled, my Seller Central to have engagements with Amazon and ONDC, and we're talking about like millions of transactions, right? But now, what if you want to get into a third-party marketplace, a fourth one, maybe one in Brazil, maybe one in I don't know, Greece, right? Now, then you've got to figure out what you want to do. And then you need security, you need discoverability, you need interoperability, right? So what you see on the right-hand side, the privacy, verification, communication, incentives, UX, right? These are the facets that are required and are actually provided by Nanda. And that's kind of a great framework, right? Also, my background is I'm also technically, a design, a protocol designer, right? A design and analysis of security and network protocols. So from a technical perspective as well, for me, this is actually, it turns out to be a great framework, which is Nanda, right? And the framework was required by my firm that I've invested in, My Seller Central, but it did not exist, and a lot of work was planned towards doing that. Similarly, there's another one, Sentient.ai, that I'm a part of, and there's another one that I know, which is Priva Sapien, which is privacy for humans. That's also in this area, right? Everyone is struggling to scale beyond MCP, so that's really the nature of today's status. Juby, can we go to the next slide? Right. And so this is why, as an investor, Nanda makes sense to me, right? Any startup that I invest in, if they use Nanda, they get privacy, verification, communication, incentives, and UX, right? Boom, out of the box, right? They just get it. And because it's Nanda, the interoperability is also well known. You do not have to have bake-offs to get an interoperability. On the other hand, if you were running MCP, you would get communications out of the box flawlessly. Great job by MCP there. A to A as well. But the other aspects need a significant amount of work. And as an investor, I really don't want to see, my startups trying to recreate the wheel, right? There's no point to doing that. Nanda's done a great job. And that's why we are moving towards adopting that. My Seller Central is adopting it. So are the other startups, right? Sentient and Priva Sapien is going to work with that. So this is how, from a deep tech investor perspective, Nanda makes sense. MCP has gotten us to a certain point, and Nanda is going to take us from here to the next level, right? So that's really my vision of, how good Nanda is technically, and also as a business enabler, right? It's really a force multiplier in that sense. So Santanu, back to you, right? Thank you.
Hi, Juby. Shall we? Thank you.
Yeah.
First of all,
So
thank you.
I think, Pradyumna, please go ahead. I think we have one more slide about the partnership opportunities. Shantanu, do you want to consolidate with that, and then we can wrap up?
Yeah, why don't you just, there are a couple of more slides, the partnership and more. Why don't you just take those?
Yeah.
Then what you can do, we can promote a few more people. We are actually getting requests, Joby. Let's
Awesome.
spend some time talking to folks, because that will be the end of the event, and it will end on a good note. Pradyumna, yours.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think we had a great set of talks. Thank you so much for everyone. We just want to end with how you can be part of Nanda and how you can partner with us. As we mentioned, this is just the beginning. We have sort of concretized our vision for Nanda and shown you one instance of a registry, a protocol, a host, a bunch of MCP servers, and so on and so forth. But really, the journey starts here, and we need all of you to be part of it so that we can collectively shape this Internet of Agents together. So, three ways today in which you can participate with us. First is, of course, you can host one node of the distributed registry. It's very, very straightforward. All you need is the public endpoint and a database on the back end, and code is publicly available there. Second, as I mentioned, is you can launch your first MCP or NANDA server with us. You can connect your app or tool with a lightweight server, and it should be very, very straightforward. We have a YouTube video, as I mentioned to you. It's called how to set up your MCP server on the NANDA registry in 15 minutes. You can check it out on the Camera Culture Group YouTube channel, and that should be a great place to get started. And third is, of course, join the open source. As we mentioned, we are building this in public. All of this is open source. All the code is open source, and there's a lot more work to be done. So if you are interested in becoming part of the open source project, join in, fill in your names on the sheets, and yeah, we'll be having regular meetings. So it would be great to have all of your talent and skill with us. And just to end off, we have a bunch of partners already, both from industry, academia, top universities. As Shantanu had mentioned, we take inspiration uh, from the early internet and World Wide Web. And so one of the first places where the internet was tried out was between UCLA and UCSB. And we're very happy that UCLA is part of NANDA as well, sort of taking that legacy forward. And so many other schools, institutions, and this list is, I think it's already outdated in terms of the academic institutions, and this was presented 2 days ago. So we are moving very, very fast and would love for you to join in as well. Thank you so much. I'm not sure what that link is.
All right, Joby,
Okay.
can you promote a few more folks, those who have asked for, and then get a feedback. This is a good time
Yeah.
to go get a feedback on. First of all, this is not the last time we are doing this Nanda conversation. We will be running in a regular basis the tutorials and workshop as and when needed. But before we can do that, we also want to get some feedback on, first of all, what you liked about this event. Second, are there other things we could have or should have covered? And third, some of the topics that you'd like to see going forward. So if the folks who are getting promoted want to talk about that, that'd be fantastic. Pradhamni, you're saying something.
Yeah, so sorry, Shantanu. I think one of the things that I'm sure folks would want is more technical detail, which we couldn't cover today just because of the scope of the event. But I think we can tell them that we'll definitely be having events further on in a few days, where we'll be going into further technical detail as well.
Yes. So as a follow-up, definitely we're looking to host a few more office hours for technical queries and a few other meetups as well to talk about applications, real-world applications, etc. That is one. Secondly, we'll be sending out a post-event survey link requesting your feedback about the session and also the nature of sessions that you would like to see in the future. That is the second part. And the third part is the community. So I hope all of you have entered your names in the documents that were shared. So you will be, based on your interest expressed, you will be added into the appropriate groups from which you can start receiving follow-up communications.
All right. Let's
All right,
promote a few.
let me go ahead and promote Peterson. So I'm promoting you to talk. Please go ahead, Peterson.
Folks, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Peterson, if you're being promoted, just one quick housekeeping. Can you turn on your video so that you can see, all of us can see you? And number two, don't leave yet. Our typical with the end of the event parties, everyone turns on their video. We put it in the kaleidoscope mode. Take a screenshot so that you remember this party 10 years from now, or this event 10 years from now. So Peterson, if you wouldn't mind turning on your video.
I'm trying to turn on my video, but
All
I
right,
don't
then go
see
ahead.
that option available. Okay, I'll go ahead and
Please go
talk
ahead. I
about.
think the video is available only to
Yeah,
panelists, but please go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, first of all, great meeting you, Shantanu and Juby again. I think this is a wonderful group to listen to. Thank you for organizing this, very well organized, and I would want to appreciate the efforts that you folks have taken to put in this meet together. Thank you for that. I want to let people know that we are working on a oral health solution. We are creating Dr. R's a platform to detect early anomalies. Nanda is brilliant in enabling decentralized data accountability. One of the things that I would be looking forward to is how we envision scaling trust and expand explainability across hyperlocal deployments, where stakeholders have vastly different digital literacy, infrastructure, regulatory, and maturity. Pradyuman has answered it. I'm sure in the days to come with office hours, which Juby has spoken about, and more meetups, these things will get resolved. But one thing I want to mention, Shantanu, thank you for this. Thank you for bringing Nanda to the public. It's a great platform, and we would like to leverage and be partnering with it. Thank you so much. That's what I want to just mention and talk about. Thank you for giving me an opportunity.
Yeah. Thanks, Peterson. In the interest of time, I'm going ahead and promoting the next hand up. Neeraj Sharma, please go ahead and speak. Neeraj Sharma.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Okay. So first thing, my name is Mrs. Neeraj Sharma. So this is the identity crisis I'm having. Yeah. So I'm working on a collaboration platform for startups and students, where startups can register with their real world problems and student can learn with those problems. And I'm doing it on two verticals, trying to collaborate with the universities, and I really want it to be a part of their curriculum where this kind of learning is possible since very first year. But on the another side, I am trying on in my personal space, and I'll be launching my first cohort in coming June 2025. So during my research and who and all are there in this space, I found Practera as one of the organization who are already working in this, along with other organizations. And I see Practera on Nanda already. They are registered themselves already on the Nanda platform. I really would like to understand more on that, how I can or this kind of collaboration platforms can leverage from Nanda. Yep, that's what I wanted to share, and really would like to discuss more on that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hey, Neeraj, so hopefully you've entered your name and details in the suggested documents, so we
I'm
can
going to do that.
follow up
I'm
on
going
that.
to do that, Juby, and great to see you all people, Juby, Shantanu, Ramesh. Great to see you all people, and thank you for getting this platform public. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Moving on quickly, Pranav Shinde, enabling access to talk. Pranav Shinde.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So first of all, thank you for giving me opportunity to the all folks. So in my background, currently I'm working as a researcher at India Quantum Labs, and I'm really curious about how we can make consensus mechanism in agentic system. Suppose with the NANDA, we are introducing the autonomous entities that might need to self-organize, update protocols. So while on these agents, like what will be the role of governments? Could they vote? Could they delegate decisions? So this is a specific question from my side.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Uh, so in overall agentic system, like I'm a blockchain enthusiast, so I have really enthusiast about consensus mechanism. So is there any kind of agentic system, like could they vote, could they delegate decisions, and how like do we make sure that goals are actually aligned with the human intent?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think this is a very important research topic. Uh, I think a lot of folks are exploring how to do agentic orchestration so that, well, a lot of agentic orchestration is actually about this, right? Which is how do you delegate tasks to identity specific agents, and then how to ensure that each of these agents is working constructively towards a bigger goal. In terms of NANDA, Nanda allows teams of agents to work together. Of course, we are not writing the orchestration algorithms. We hope others do that. We just provide the framework for that. But I think this is a very, very important direction of exploration that a lot of folks are actively working on.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for, and I'm also currently like doing research in the same topic. So yeah, maybe for the volunteer, if I get the opportunity, I will definitely do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, and had a great event, had a great time. Yeah.
Thanks, Pranav.
Hey, thanks, Pranav. We'll have two more random selection. Venkatesh, allowing you to talk. Venkatesh, if you're on.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, thank you so much, organizers and presenters. Wonderful session. My name is Venkatesh. I'm the founder and CEO of a Bangalore-based startup Nexstar, and we specialize in developing industrial AI platforms to enable adaptive enterprises. We specifically focus on semiconductor and electronics industry, and great initiative, and I see a lot of applications. And initially, when I was looking at Nanda, I was thinking it was more like consumer driven internet. But then I realized through the session that there is a lot of application I could think of in an enterprise. We talked about SME, and there is Meshify, which talked about how they are applying this to agentic CRM for small industries. So I could see a lot of applications for industries as well as in some of the things which we are working.
Venkatesh, we cannot hear you anymore. Uh, Maybe dropped off. Yeah.
No, I'm still there.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you guys
Yeah,
hear
we
me?
can hear you now. We can hear you now. We lost you in the middle
Yeah.
over there.
Okay, okay. Sorry about that.
No
So I could see this framework providing a lot of scope for applications in an industry, especially within the enterprise and outside the enterprise as well. And I'm very excited to try out some of these, and would be more than happy to participate and explore how this can be used in some of the solutions we are already building. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Very last volunteer speak. Amit Gujjar, promoting you. Amit Gujjar, if you're on, please unmute and you can speak.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity. I have from last 1 month I'm building on similar lines, and I have built one voice-based peer-to-peer distributed decentralized system. So my question to you is, how will you incentivize uh, the how can we incentivize the server which are there in the network?
So your question is how are we thinking of incentivization for folks who are adding themselves on the registry? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah, great question.
Yes.
So Nanda fundamentally supports transactions. So you can think of always try to create parallels with the World Wide Web, right? And always try to create parallels with the World Wide Web and the internet. So our hope is that with robust transaction mechanisms and robust reputation mechanisms that we'll all collectively build, the goal is that this should help like meritorious on and high performing nodes to get visibility, discoverability, and as this network size increases, people will start asking for services, and you as a provider of services can ask for payment for it via the Nanda protocol. And that should be good enough incentivization. You can just think of this draw one-to-one mapping to the web, and that's how this should go forward.
One follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
I have developed peer-to-peer decentralized. So so how it is on Aadhaar-based protocol? It is scalable as Aadhaar. So I am little confused. What should I do? Means from last 3 days, I'm confused. Should I go with that protocol or should I go with another 3 protocols which are there in the market, like MCP of Anthropic and your protocol? So I am little confused here because purpose are different of uh, all the uh, all the
Protocols.
MCPs protocols. Yes.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Interesting times. Completely agreed. But I think that I had talked about earlier that you don't think about MCP, A2A, Nanda as being competitors of each other. They're all trying to solve a different part of the problem. So MCP is solving agent to tool communication. A2A is solving agent to agent communication in a known topology, which means if you are in an organization, if you're running 10 different agents on Google Cloud, or like if you're running 100 different agents on Google Cloud, A2A will allow you to choose agents and work with it that way. Nanda builds on top of both of these. So MCP A2A is supported in Nanda, but it builds on top of both of these to allow for aspects such as transactions, reputation, so on and so forth. So all these three are sort of complementary and build on top of each other. About your question, what you should use, I cannot answer that right now unless I know what you are exactly working on. So maybe we can talk offline and discuss more later.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance. Thank you very much.
Hey, I think we are at the top of the hour,
Yep.
8 p.m. here in India. So we'll look to wrap up. Shantanu,
Yeah.
any other thoughts?
Let's do a I think first of all, thank you all for, at the peak, I was noticing the number was 281 or so. Thank you all for taking the time to come and attend, join the event, join the movement. What you do need, if you get 20, 30, 40, 50 Nanda servers in India in the next 15 days, we'll consider this a great success, this conversation a great success, right? We have an opportunity, as you said, to build a very, very different AI infrastructure from US and China. And I think we excel in decentralized approaches. We have shown the world in the form of UPI and Aadhaar and many other India stacks that we are building today. So let's start that movement today. Nanda is a great starting point. If you are, as I said, if you are interested, go to the spreadsheet, enter your name, go